After their mother's burial, twins were exposed to hardship. Then they discovered an incredible bond that would save their town. Lily and Jake stood at the edge of their old backyard, where the tall grass hid the memories of a life filled with laughter and love. Their mother, the heart of Maplewood, had left behind a silence that echoed through their lives like a ghost, an uninvited presence. In those early days of grief, their house felt like a museum of sorrow. The scent of vanilla and cinnamon, once a staple of their mother's baking, was replaced with an emptiness that hung heavy in the air. Every morning, they tiptoed around their father, a shell of a man, lost in his own battle with loss. With every passing week, the twins traded summers of adventure for odd jobs, determined to contribute to the family's dwindling finances. They mowed lawns and walked neighborhood dogs, pouring every ounce of their youthful energy into surviving. But despite their efforts, every penny barely scratched the surface of their grief. Then came that fateful day at the community center, the bustling heart of Maplewood, where their mother had taught art classes. The place felt abandoned, just like their spirits. Dust swirled around them like ghosts from their past. As they sifted through broken tools and forgotten lumber, something sparked between them, an instinct, a shared thrill. They began to tinker, shaping wood into something beautiful. Their laughter rang out like a defiant song against the richness of despair, and for the first time since their mother's passing, they felt the flicker of hope. "Jake, look!" Lily beamed, holding up a carved bird. "I think we can bring this place back to life." The twins bonded over every cut and carve, their nimble fingers discovering a talent that felt like a lifeline. They found their mother's spirit in these moments, and little by little, they breathed life back into the community center. The once forgotten venue became a place of healing. Neighbors rekindled friendships over their work and shared memories, turning wood scraps into furniture, laughter filling the air like sweet music, but dreams can often attract shadows. Rumors swirled around a wealthy contractor who wanted to buy the land, his eyes gleaming with dollar signs. "The community doesn't need this place anymore," he snickered, his sharp words cutting deep. The twins felt the weight of their dream hanging by a fragile thread. They held a town meeting, their voices quaking but resolute. "We need to save this center. Our mother would have wanted it." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the fundraisers gathered steam, they received shocking news about their mother, a hidden legacy that turned everything they knew upside down. What had she truly sacrificed to keep them safe? Confusion swirled as Jake and Lily confronted the truth. The pain of their loss shifted. They realized they weren't just fighting for a building, but for a legacy of resilience and belonging. As they faced this crucial moment, their father emerged from the shadows of grief, fragile yet ready to support them. Would they sacrifice their project to mend their family's wounds, or would they fight for their mother's dream? The question loomed larger than life: what does it truly mean to succeed? With love on their side and hope flickering like a candle, Lily and Jake stood at a crossroads. Would they let the flame burn out, or would they fan it into a blaze that could light the way for their community? Lily and Jake sat on the worn steps of the community center, the sun setting behind the trees, casting a warm glow across Maplewood. The fading light reminded them of days spent with their mother, the way she used to gather them close for evening chats. As they stared at the building, the weight of their recent revelations settled heavy on them. "What if we fail, Lily?" Jake's voice trembled as uncertainty flooded his heart. She turned to him, her eyes fierce. "We can't think like that. Mom believed in this place, in us." Her words felt like armor, wrapping around him. They shared a moment, each drawing strength from the other, yet doubt gnawed at the edges of their resolve. The next town meeting was buzzing with anticipation. Residents took their seats, the room filled with murmurs, concerned faces, hopeful glances. Jake stood next to Lily at the front, his hands trembling slightly as he approached the microphone. "Thank you all for coming," he said, forcing a smile. "This place means more than just wood and brick. It's where we remember our mother, but it's also about all of you, about community." Each word poured out like a fragile potion, crafted with care. As he spoke, he saw familiar faces nodding: Mr. Thompson, the elderly man who taught him how to fish, Mrs. Jensen, who would sometimes sneak cookies onto their porch. Those memories swirled in him, igniting a flicker of passion that pushed the fear aside. "Lily and I discovered something amazing about Mom," he continued, his voice steadying. "She left us a legacy, a way to bring this town together. She didn't just teach art, she created a home for everyone." Jake paused, scanning the room. A few people exchanged glances, curiosity mixed with hope reflecting in their eyes. When it was Lily's turn, she felt the electricity in the room. "We've been through so much, losing our mom, but she always showed us how to find beauty in the world. We want to keep this community center alive, to honor her memory and serve all of you, just like she did." The applause that erupted felt like a wave crashing against the shore, washing away their fears. As people stood and cheered, Jake felt tears sting his eyes. In that moment, he saw their father smile for the first time in months, a spark of pride that illuminated his shadowed face. After the meeting, the duo gathered in the kitchen to talk strategy. "We need to spread the word," Lily suggested, enthusiasm bubbling. They brainstormed ideas for fundraisers, bake sales, car washes, art nights. The twins could feel the energy building, and hope soared as their plans took shape, but as the excitement grew, so did the contract's shadow. Rumors about the contractor's intentions didn't fade. On their way home, they spotted him talking to some neighbors, gesturing lavishly about new developments. "They're going to sell this place for a parking lot, I just know it," Jake said through clenched teeth, his hands tightening around the steering wheel. Lily swallowed her frustration, trying to remain positive. "We can't give up. We need a strategy to counter him. We'll get the whole town involved." Her determination was infectious, and despite the lurking shadow, hope ignited again in their hearts. As the week unfolded, they worked day and night, organizing the community, planning events, and hand-picking volunteers. Word of their mission spread across Maplewood like wildfire, connecting people who had once felt distant or lost, but just as they were gaining momentum, a knock at the door jolted them. Their father stood there, holding an envelope. "You need to see this," he said, his voice grave. Jake felt the knot in his stomach tighten again. "What now?" The children exchanged uneasy glances as their father opened the letter. Inside, a shocking revelation awaited them, a disclosure that could change everything. "You don't understand," he breathed, his face pale. "Your mother, there's something you need to know." Lily felt her heart race. Just when they thought they had a plan, they were faced with colossal uncertainty. What could this revelation mean for them and their fight to save the community center? As dread washed over the twins, they realized they were on the brink of uncovering a truth far more significant than they anticipated. Would it strengthen their resolve, or tear their dreams apart? Lily leaned closer, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "What is it?" she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Jake felt his stomach twist. He needed answers, but dread mixed with uncertainty sent chills up his spine. Their father's fingers trembled as he carefully removed the letter from the envelope. Each deliberate movement felt like an eternity, as if the world had slowed just for this revelation. Finally, he unfolded the paper and began to read aloud, his voice heavy with emotion. "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Whitman," he read, "we regret to inform you that due to unforeseen circumstances, the foundation established for the Maplewood Community Center may be compromised. Further details reveal that the building's ownership is currently in dispute." His voice faltered, and he stopped reading, a look of despair washing over his face. "What does this mean?" Lily asked, fighting to keep her voice steady. "Compromised? Dispute? We can't lose this place." Jake felt panic rising. "How can it be disputed? Mom built this center with love. It's ours. It's for everyone." He was desperate to believe there was a catch somewhere, a way to cling to the solidity of everything they had worked for. Their father swallowed hard, gathering himself before continuing. I think someone might be contesting her will. There are people in town wanting to take advantage of the situation. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in as uncertainty wrapped around them like a suffocating blanket. Lily's hands shook. How can they do that? Mom wouldn't have wanted this. We have to fight back. Jake nodded fiercely, but the icy grip of fear twisted inside him. We don't even know who's behind this. We can't battle shadows. Their father put the letter down and took a deep breath. I'm not going to let anyone take this place away from you. Your mother fought for this community. We'll find a way to protect her legacy. The conviction in his voice brought a spark of hope back into the air, but the words felt heavy, like an anchor weighing them down. Lily straightened, feeling a fire ignite in her belly. We need to dig deeper. We can't let this slide, especially not now. Mom's influence is stronger than any legal challenge. Jake's thoughts raced. They needed to act fast. What if we reach out to some of the townspeople? If they know what's going on, they can rally around us. If Mom's friends gather, maybe we can find more information and support. His sister beamed at him. Exactly. We could arrange a meeting like a community revival. We gather everyone and share what we discovered. Their father nodded in agreement. Remember what your mother taught you: the strength and love in community can overcome anything. Get everyone involved. It's time to rally for her memory. With renewed purpose, they sprang into action. They spent the night drafting letters and posting flyers around town. The next morning, Lily was up early, buzzing with ideas while Jake struggled to catch up. Each effort making phone calls, meeting with neighbors, and preparing the community center for the gathering brought a sense of urgency and resolution. As the sun dipped low in the sky, illuminating Maplewood with golden hues, hope surged through their veins. Veteran town members and young families arrived, filled with concern and determination for what was at stake. Then it happened. Just before they could greet the crowd, an imposing figure stepped into the light. It was the contractor. He had an unsettling grin on his face. I hear there's a little gathering going on, he said, his voice slick like oil. Mind if I join? The tension in the air thickened, and every heart in the room stilled. What did he want? And what was his plan for their beloved community center? A thought crept into Jake's mind. What if he had a hand in the mess they were trying to unravel? As whispers flared around them, the twins felt the stakes rising higher. They couldn't just lose their mother's legacy, it was time to stand firm against the storm that threatened to drown them. Suddenly, the weight of their mission shifted. What they would uncover that night would bring them to the brink, challenging everything about their family and their fight to save the community center. Would they find the strength to confront him? Or would the very ground they stood on quake beneath them? Lily's heart raced as the contractor stepped further into the room, an air of entitlement surrounding him. The low murmur of the crowd faded, their curious eyes darting between each other and back to the intruder. Jake shot a quick glance at his father, whose brows knitted tightly together, signaling that they couldn't let fear dictate their next move. Why are you here? Jake found his voice first, demanding yet trembling. The contractor chuckled, his smirk never wavering. Just thought I'd lend my expertise. On all this, he gestured toward the hastily arranged chairs and tables. You see, if there are issues with ownership, it might be in everyone's best interest to discuss alternatives. Lily could feel the mounting tension, but it lit a fire in her belly. And by alternatives, you mean what? Taking away our mother's legacy? She stepped forward, her voice ringing loud and clear, emboldened by the support of the townsfolk who filled the room. The contractor leaned against the doorframe, oozing confidence. I'm merely offering practical solutions here, sweetheart. This town has a need for progress, and let's face it, your mother's dreams were a little outdated. Gasps echoed in the room, drawing strength from their shared disbelief. Lily could see the disdain reflected in the eyes of their neighbors. You don't get to rewrite what our mother built. This center isn't just bricks, it's the heart of Maplewood. Jake stepped forward, fists clenched. We're not backing down. Everyone here knows what this place means to us and this community. You have no chance here. The contractor straightened, his demeanor cool but his eyes sparked with a challenge. You really think this little gathering changes anything? I'm just getting started. The entire room seemed to breathe in, like a wind caught in their chests. Hours of planning and fighting suddenly felt at risk, hanging in the balance of this confrontation. The townspeople shifted, unease twisting in the air like a thunder cloud, ready to burst. Then, Lily remembered. Their mom had always told stories about fighting against the odds, how the townspeople came together in tough times. With a quick glance at Jake, she took a deep breath and raised her voice again, determined to rally their supporters. Look what we built together. Mom would be proud of the love we all share. You can't take that away. Let us show him that we're stronger together. The crowd started murmuring, little bursts of encouragement rippling among them. Old friends, young families, and neighbors, they all knew what the community center represented. It was where life milestones occurred, where friendships blossomed, a safe haven. They could feel the energy in the room shifting, growing thicker, wrapping around them like a protective shield. The contractor's grin faltered, brows creasing with irritation. Oh, please. You really think you can fight against the law? The lawyers? I assure you, this will get ugly. Lily's heart pounded as she faced him. We're already in the fight, and we won T back down. Together, we'll face whatever comes our way. Their father had stepped forward, mirroring their resolve, ensuring they stood united against this threat. You may have your tactics, but we have something you will never understand: a community that cares for each other. The weight of the moment pressed down, a mix of hope and fear mingling in the air. Jake felt a spark of determination. There had to be a way to outsmart him. As eyes locked onto theirs, the room filled with an energy that felt almost electric. They wouldn't let the contractor tear apart what their mother had built. But deep inside, Jake wondered what other secrets lurked beneath the surface of this struggle. They couldn't afford to just react, they needed to uncover the truth, fast. The contractor took a step back, a glint of calculation in his eyes. All right, kids. You've got my attention. But remember, every game has its players, and not all players are fair. As he turned to leave, Jake felt a wave of unease pulse through him. What could he possibly mean? What stakes were rising in this game? The heaviness in the air lingered, they could almost taste it. A feeling settled in Jake's gut, a combination of fear and the burning fire of determination. The fight was just beginning, but they had to find answers soon, or this battle for their mother's legacy could cost far more than they ever anticipated. What lay beneath the surface of this dispute? And who would be the next to reveal their hidden agenda? As the contractor's silhouette slipped through the door, the crowd held its breath, the tension of the moment still crackling in the air. Lily's heart thundered in her chest, but she locked eyes with Jake, drawing strength from his unwavering resolve. Her father's stern expression mirrored their combined determination. They didn't just have memories to defend, they had each other. All right, everyone. Jake's voice broke through the silence. We can't let him divide us. We need to gather our resources and fight back. The echo of his words plucked at the hearts of those in attendance, igniting a fire that bent but did not break. Right. A voice from the crowd called out. It was Mrs. Thompson, the librarian, always ready to stand up against the odds. We've spent years building this community center. We know what it means to work together. Lily felt a rush of gratitude. They weren't alone, right here, right now, they had an army. Friends, neighbors, and the legacy of their mother surrounded them. She let her gaze fall to the chaos of chairs and tables strewn about, remnants of their hurried preparations, symbols of the fight ahead. We need to set up meetings, organize protests, anything we can to show our support. I'll help spread the word. chimed in Eli, the local electrician, always the one to turn ideas into action. He was joined by others, voices rising, each spurred on by a shared commitment to preserving what their beloved center stood for. The more they spoke, the more ideas sprouted. They envisioned bake sales, community meetings, and banners to rally support, each small action building momentum in a struggle that felt insurmountable just moments before. But as they talked about plans, Lily felt a shiver run up her spine. With every ambitious proposal, the specter of the contractor loomed larger in her mind. Amidst the conversations and laughter, a woman's voice broke through like thunder. But what do we really know about him? Where did he come from? The crowd quieted again, thoughts swirling like autumn leaves in the wind. They didn't just need to fight, they needed to outsmart this man who seemed like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Jake, remember what Mom always said about looking beyond the surface? Lily suggested, her thoughts racing as the idea took form. We need to dig deeper. There might be things we don't know, connections we haven't seen. If we want to stop him, we need to uncover any dirt we can find. Exactly. If he is pulling strings behind the scenes, we have to know who else is involved, Jake agreed, his voice steady. It was a moment of awakening. They couldn't just face this battle, they needed knowledge to win it. In the frenetic energy of the room, a new plan began to swirl. Lily felt a renewed sense of purpose as names and connections flowed through the conversation. But with each name mentioned, she felt a tightening in her stomach. What if the people they trusted had something to hide? The crowd rallied, each person contributing thoughts and resources until they had a plan in place. A town meeting to discuss strategy and reach out to others affected by the contractor's presence. They spent the next hour creating pamphlets, raising awareness throughout Maplewood that the fight for their center had only just begun. As the group dispersed, the weight of the evening settled heavily again on Lily and Jake. We've set something in motion, Jake murmured, glancing across the emptying room, their mother's spirit somehow echoing within those walls. I hope we can find the information we need, Lily replied, determination shimmering in her eyes. We can't let this become just another story about a lost legacy. The air was heavy with the promise of what lay ahead, a palpable charge of activism and fear, hope mingling with worry. They couldn't afford to be naive. As they walked out into the night air, the cool breeze was soothing but also carried whispers of uncertainty. What secrets were buried beneath this conflict? And could unearthing them rally their community enough to stop a man who seemed to thrive in the shadows? Lily and Jake stepped outside, the world around them darkening into shades of blue and gray. The stars glimmered overhead, distant but bright. Yet even the universe seemed muted in comparison to the fire brewing in their hearts. The warm glow from the community center lingered in their minds, a beacon pushing them forward toward the unknown. Jake, do you really think we can find something on him? Lily asked, biting her lip as doubt crept in. It feels like we might just be chasing shadows. We have to try, he replied, his determination unwavering. It's not just about the center. It's about holding on to who we are. He took a breath, steadying himself against the weight of their family's legacy. Let us head to the local archives tomorrow. If anyone knows about that contractor, it's got to be in there. Good idea, she nodded, a flicker of hope lighting up her anxiety. They made their way home, an unseen current connecting them to their childhood street lined with memories. With every step, Lily felt the nostalgia wash over her, the warm kitchen on winter mornings, laughter echoing in the yard, the comfort of belonging. The next day dawned gray and rainy, but Lily and Jake were unfazed as they trudged down the familiar path to the library. There was something exhilarating about the chase, despite the chill in the air. The library welcomed them with the smell of old books and the soft hum of history surrounding them. Mrs. Thompson was already there, her nose buried in a newspaper from years past. I thought I might find you two here, she smiled, pushing her glasses up. I found some articles about the contractor. Apparently, he's done business in multiple towns, always stirring up controversy. Lily's heart raced. Can we see them? Of course. They're over here. Mrs. Thompson led them to a secluded corner where old newspapers lay stacked like treasures waiting to be uncovered. They combed through the articles, absorbing details about the man's tactics. He was clever, ruthless, and, worst of all, connected. Jake's fingers brushed over a headline. "Look at this." He pointed. "It talks about a protest in a town similar to ours." It sounds like he bulldozed a community center right out from under them. Lily felt her stomach drop. What happened to the people there? They were pushed out, Mrs. Thompson replied, her voice thick with concern. It's like he thrives on division. A sense of dread hung heavy in the air. This man wasn't just a contractor, he was a destroyer of communities. They could feel the clock ticking, each minute bringing them closer to a potential decision that could change everything, but then, a name jumped out at Lily from one of the articles. It was familiar. Jake, remember Mr. Callahan? The one who sat on the town council when we were kids. Her mind raced. He was in several articles, mentioned as someone who lost his property to this guy. Right. Jake glanced at her, eyes lighting up. What if Callahan knows something about how to stop him? Lily tightened her fists, determination renewing. Then we have to reach out to him. We need all the allies we can get. They gathered their notes and decided to visit Mr. Callahan immediately. As they stepped back into the rain-soaked streets, an uneasy silence filled the space between them, each lost in thought about the challenge ahead. Would he be willing to help? Would he have the answers they so desperately needed to protect their community? The rain fell steadily, but beneath the clouds of uncertainty, hope glimmered bright. All they could do now was move forward. But as they approached Mr. Callahan's house, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed behind them. Were they being followed? With their hearts racing again, they exchanged worried glances. There was much more at stake than they realized. What other surprises awaited them in their fight against the contractor? Lily felt a shiver run down her spine as she glanced back down the street. The sound of footsteps seemed to match their hurried pace, echoing ominously in the dim light. Do you hear that? She whispered, her voice barely above the raindrops splattering against the pavement. Jake nodded, his brow furrowed. We should move, he urged, quickening their steps. We don't have time to find out who it is. They turned sharply at the corner, hoping to lose whoever was trailing them. The shadows danced around them, the rain washing away their footprints but not their anxiety. With each breath, Lily felt the weight of their mission settling heavier on her chest. Mr. Callahan was their best shot, yet fear threatened to overshadow any flicker of hope. As they reached Mr. Callahan's home, a modest brick house with a sagging porch, they found themselves hesitating. The rain drummed relentlessly, almost mocking their uncertainty. Lily knocked, her heart racing as she held her breath, praying that someone would answer. Moments passed, each second stretching into an eternity, when finally the door creaked open. Mr. Callahan stood there, his face weathered but warm, surprise illuminating his eyes. Lily? Jake? What brings you here? Mr. Callahan, we need your help, Jake blurted out urgently. It's about the contractor, the one who's threatening the community center. Oh, he stepped aside, motioning them in. Come in, quick. You're drenched. As they entered the dimly lit living room filled with vintage furniture and family photos, Lily felt an unexpected surge of comfort. It reminded her of home, reminding her why they were fighting. How long has it been? Mr. Callahan asked, his eyes softened with nostalgia. Too long, Lily answered quietly. But things are different now. We need to act fast. She explained everything: the articles, the contractor's history of destruction, and their quest to find allies. Mr. Callahan listened intently, his fingers stroking his chin. I knew he was trouble, but I had no idea he had expanded his reach like this. I lost my lot to him years ago. He doesn't stop until he gets what he wants. What do we do? Jake leaned forward, his intensity palpable. You must have a plan, something we could use. Mr. Callahan paused, lost in thought. When I fought back, I wasn't alone. The community came together, and they needed a spark, something to unify them against him. You too have that spark, but you'll need a strategy. Lily's heart quickened with possibility. What do you suggest? Suddenly, a loud thud reverberated from somewhere nearby, breaking their moment. The footsteps, they had come closer. An icy realization struck her. Were they trying to intimidate them? To send a warning? Stay quiet, Mr. Callahan whispered, his voice barely above a breath. We have to stay safe first. They all crouched low, peeking through the window. Shadows moved outside, silhouettes slipping through the rain-soaked streets that felt overwhelming and claustrophobic. Lily's pulse raced. What if they find us? We can't panic, Mr. Callahan insisted. We need to draft a plan, rally the community. We must fight back, and soon. Just then, an unexpected figure stepped closer to their doorway, silhouetted against the streetlight. The glow caught the outline of a woman holding an umbrella. When she turned, there was something familiar about her, a fragment of a memory dancing at the edges of Lily's mind. What happens now? Jake whispered, his gaze locked on the newcomer. Lily didn't know, but she felt the air grow thick with tension. Who was this woman, and did she bring a new piece of the puzzle, or was she another obstacle in their fight for survival? With their hopes dangling on a fragile thread, Lily knew they were at a crossroads. The battle for their community was only just beginning. The woman stepped forward, her umbrella flicking open with a sharp snap as she shielded herself from the rain. Drenched hair clung to her face, but the determination in her dark eyes was unmistakable. Lily? Her voice cut through the tension like a knife. It was no ordinary encounter. I didn't think I'd see you here. Lily squinted, struggling to place the face. It struck her. Emma? Is that you? The flood of recognition brought a mixture of relief and disbelief. Emma had been an old friend, someone who had vanished along with spirited community projects when they were teenagers. What are you doing here? I've been watching, Emma said, stepping inside and shaking the rain from her umbrella. I heard about the contractor and knew I had to help. I want to make sure what happened to our center doesn't happen again. Jake exchanged a glance with Lily. You know about the situation. Then you understand how urgent it is. I do, Emma replied, her voice firm. But we can't act alone. I can rally some of the old crew, the ones who are still around. We can reignite the fire if we act fast. Mr. Callahan leaned in, clearly interested. Every pair of hands will help. We'll need to set a meeting, get everyone on board. But we need to do this quietly for now. Lily felt a swell of hope rise in her chest, a collective strength beginning to form. Can we do it tonight? The faster we gather support, the better. This contractor won't relent. Emma nodded, a spark of determination lighting her features. Absolutely. I'll reach out. We'll need a place to meet. Somewhere nobody will think to check. As they huddled together, formulating a plan, the urgency of their situation hung heavily in the air. Meanwhile, a faint noise from the street prickled at Lily's senses. The ominous thudding had faded, replaced with the faint sound of voices approaching. Hide! She breathed, adrenaline pulsing through her veins. They ducked behind the couch, clutching at each other in silence. The voices grew louder, mixing with the relentless rain as a sense of dread washed over them. What if it's him? Jake whispered, his brow knitted in worried NMR. Callahan peeked through the thin curtain. We can't stick around if it is. We need to gather our people and move somewhere else to prepare. An unfamiliar voice floated through the air, deep and menacing. They can't keep running forever. Lily's heart raced. Who was it? Did they know about the meeting? Were they coming for them? The knot in her stomach tightened. Stay calm, Mr. Callahan murmured, eyes alert, scanning the street. We can't let fear overtake us. The door creaked slightly, barely noticeable as a shadow shifted just outside. The world felt like it had shrunk to this moment, the air heavy with tension, the future uncertain. They needed to act, fan the flames of community spirit, but there was a real threat lurking just beyond the threshold. "Whatever we do, we have to do it now," Emma said, her voice low but resolute. "We can't afford to lose this chance. Let us get everyone connected, ready to fight back." Lily felt determination stirring inside. They were on the brink of something bigger than all of them. But as the voices drew nearer, another thought surfaced: what if they couldn't pull the community together in time? What if fear kept them divided? Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the night, and Lily's heart dropped. What if they had underestimated their enemy? Was there still time to save their community before it was too late? Would they manage to gather support and stand strong together, or would fear take hold of them once again? The echoes of the bang reverberated through the cramped room, leaving Lily's heart pounding in her chest. Shadows danced outside the window, merging with the sound of pouring rain. She glanced at Emma, whose face reflected both fear and steely resolve. There was no time to ponder what the bang meant, they had to act. "Jake, keep watch," Mr. Callahan instructed, his voice steady despite the chaos brewing around them. "Lily and Emma, let us move to the back. We need a plan." With hands clasped tight around their phones, Lily and Emma huddled close to Mr. Callahan. She felt the weight of their breaths mingling, a fragile mix of courage and anxiety. The voices that loomed outside were close now, murmurings that sent shivers down her spine. But she pushed through the fear, focusing on the mission at hand. "Do you think they know about us?" Emma murmured, her eyes darting toward the door. "Should we really be making calls now?" "Just one call," Mr. Callahan insisted, unwavering. "If we try to bring everyone together without a fight-back plan, it'll be chaos. We need someone inside who can give us intel on what they're up to." Lily nodded, taking a deep breath as Emma dialed. While they waited, Lily's mind raced with memories of their beloved community center. Memories of laughter, meeting friends, and planning events that lit up their small town felt distant now. The idea of losing it all drove her motivation. "Everyone's so scattered after the last rally," Emma's voice trailed off as the phone rang. "Let us remind them what they're fighting for," Lily said, her voice firm, almost surprising herself. She scanned the cluttered room, spotting old flyers from past community events mixed with rain-drenched papers on the table. They could invoke nostalgia, they just had to ignite the hope buried beneath the fear. Emma finally spoke. She had reached their old friend, Marco. "We need your help. The contractor is back, and it's worse than we thought." As she relayed their urgent plea, the floor creaked ominously outside, a reminder that they weren't alone. "Someone's coming." Jake's voice cut sharply through the air. He had peeled back the curtain slightly, peering outside. "Everyone, quiet," Mr. Callahan hissed, glancing toward the darkened door. Bodies pressed against each other, the storm inside their minds threatened to spill out into panic. The rattling of the front door sent ice through Lily's veins. "What if they find us?" "They can't," Mr. Callahan murmured, lips pressed into a thin line. They won't. Suddenly, a figure silhouetted in the porch light drew near, the unmistakable outline of a tall man. His voice was familiar, cold, almost taunting. "I know you're in there. You can't hide from us forever." Murmurs from the outside crowd intensified as if they could sense the fear bubbling inside. Just as the reality of defeat clawed at Lily's heart, an unexpected thought sparked within her. This wasn't just about survival, it was their chance to unite, to summon every ounce of strength buried deep in their hearts and bring their community back from the brink point. One of the voices broke through the treble of nerves, crying out, "We know your plans. You can't take this place from us." A new rush of hope filled the corners of her spirit. "We have to go now," Lily whispered fiercely, her eyes blazing with light. "There are still others who care, and will shine the light bright enough to pierce this darkness." They moved as one fragile unit toward the door, no longer mere shadows but fierce voices against intimidation. Would they rally enough trust to combat the threat tightening around them? Would fear give way to courage in their final stand? The moment was upon them. Would they step out together into the rain and fight or linger in the shadows of uncertainty? Lily held her breath, her heart thundering in her chest as the door creaked open. The atmosphere was thick with tension, but there was no backing down now. They had come too far to linger in fear. "Let us show them the strength of our community," Jake said, his voice steady and resolute. The anxiety washed away, replaced by a determination to stand united against the contractor and those who thrived on division. Outside, the shadows loomed larger, but the resolve of their neighbors glimmered like embers ready to ignite. They stepped out, the rain pouring down but bringing a sense of clarity. The crowd that had begun to gather brought with it whispers of support, filled with familiar faces standing shoulder to shoulder. "That's right. We're with you," shouted Mrs. Thompson, her voice rising above the rain. Her declaration was a spark, and others followed suit. One by one, voices rose in a chorus of affirmation, drowning out the contractor's taunts. The towering figure of the contractor stood slightly unnerved, his smug expression faltering as the crowd pressed closer together, emboldened by solidarity. "Enough of this nonsense," he barked, but even his voice trembled, caught in the whirlwind of unity surrounding him. "Your plans don't scare us," Lily shouted, locking eyes with the contractor. "This community center is the heart of Maplewood, and we won't let greed tear it apart." Cheers erupted from the crowd, ignited by Lily's fire. Each clap and shout pushed back against the doubt and darkness surrounding them. Jake beamed at his sister, the warmth of hope blossoming between them. Memories of their mother echoed in their hearts, reminding them why they fought. This was more than just a building, it was their mother's legacy, alive in every laugh, every connection they forged. Mr. Callahan stepped forward, his presence strong and commanding. "You underestimate the power of a united community," he said, fearlessly facing the contractor. "We've built a life here together. You don't know us or what we're capable of." The contractor scoffed, but the glimmer of doubt in his eyes was unmistakable. The crowd pressed closer, their determination palpable, a living testament to the power of togetherness. With an intense gaze, Lily surveyed the faces around her, the tired but determined seniors, the bright-eyed children whose laughter echoed through the community center, the neighbors who had become family. "We can make this place thrive again. Together, we can build something beautiful." Another wave of cheers followed, a tsunami of hope defeating the shadows threatening to engulf them. They had stories to tell, tears to shed, and joy to celebrate, all woven into the fabric of their beloved community center. The contractor's confidence began to crumble as he faced a sea of determined faces, the murmurs of support growing louder, stronger. "You'll regret this," he said, his voice laced with desperation. "No," Jake shot back. "We're fighting for what matters most. You've underestimated us for too long." As the rain poured down, washing away the last traces of fear, Lily felt a surge of warmth swell within her. Together, they were unstoppable. The shadows of doubt melted away in the brilliance of their shared resolve. With cheers climbing ever higher, the community rallied, determined to reclaim their legacy and protect their center. The contractor's arrogance melted under the overwhelming strength of unity, and he stepped back, shaken. "Let us show him what we're made of," Jake declared, the energy of their resolve electrifying the air, pushing back against the storm, not just of weather, but of spirit. In that moment, they knew their journey was not over. They had challenges ahead, but they would face each one together. Bonded by love and remembrance, they would reclaim the community center and breathe life back into what their mother had built. As the crowd roared in agreement, a beautiful truth settled among them: they were not just fighting for a building, they were fighting for each other, for their shared history, and for all the dreams waiting to be realized. This was only the beginning. Lily smiled through her tears, heart swelling with pride. The battle had just ignited a spark that would burn bright, illuminating their path ahead. "Together," she whispered to Jake, their eyes locked in understanding. "Always together." And as the rain fell, it carried the sound of hope to the very edges of Maplewood, a promise of resilience and community that would endure. "Now is the time for you to act. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss exclusive stories like this. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment with your reactions and feelings about the ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of lifting each other up.